former coach of Russia Daniil Gleichengauz, who works in the headquarters of Ettore Tutberidze, spoke about the possible return to sports of Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva. Her return to sports. It seems to me like an explosion of the universe should be, because a huge number of people are waiting for it. And it seems like the right story. You know, how we all believe in good and evil, and it seems to us that Kamila, who will return to sports and achieve results, is like some kind of right fairy tale. As if it should happen. I want to believe in it. Do I believe in it? For now, yes. I mean, I can imagine how she will start training fully, getting into shape. Of course, there is the question of health, motivation, especially at the moment when competitive training with rolling out programs will begin. At the moment, I believe in it and am really looking forward to it, Gleichengauz said on the air of the show Rink. State Duma deputy and Olympic speed skating champion Svetlana Zarova spoke about the recent scandal related to the disqualification of the famous Polish tennis player Iga Swiatek for using trimetazidine for only 1 month. Not only the Polish athlete Swiatek, but also other athletes received minimum sentences for similar violations. They were never given for years. These were always very short sentences. Therefore, in Kamila's case, everything was done on purpose. She could have returned in 6 months or several months to compete, like other athletes after a minimum dose. But Kamila was punished as if she had taken anabolic steroids at a young age, and did so publicly, in front of everyone. As if she had swallowed them in front of everyone. Vosti Sport quotes Zarova as saying, "The completely different approach to disqualifications for using similar drugs by Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva and Polish tennis player Iga Swiatek is due to the fact that Western anti-doping organizations are very selective in punishing Russians and athletes from other countries, but over time all the secrets will be revealed," two-time Olympic biathlon champion Dmitry Vasilyev told RA Novosti. Everything's secret sooner or later becomes clear. And over time, all the dishonesty and selectivity of decisions will be revealed, not only in relation to Russian athletes, but also to some athletes from other countries. Remember the Norwegian biathlete Martin Sundby? At one time, he was also disqualified for only 2 months, although other athletes were given 2 and 4 years for the same drugs. Today, there is absolutely no honest sport. And for this, we must thank the president of the International Olympic Committee Thomas Bach and his gang, for what he has brought the doping control process to, including the notorious certificates of therapeutic exemptions. But over time, everything will be revealed, who covered up whom and how. Kamila Valieva received the Best Sports Blogger award. After a forced break, Kamila became more active in her social life. She appears more often at various events, acts in commercials and TV shows, which in the midst of everyday training was something out of science fiction. There was even talk of a joint song with Mia Boyka, but for now the creative work has been put on hold. Perhaps for the best. After all, judging by the interview, neither Mia nor Kamila really knew the details of the joint track. In general, the figure skater became a media personality. And, of course, a blogger. One from the other has been inseparable lately. So the nomination in the category Best Sports Blogger for the Blogema award in itself could hardly surprise the public. Perhaps only the category. After all, Valieva is an undoubted blogger, but is she a sports one? Judging by Kamila's posts on social networks, now it makes more sense to position her as an influencer social activist or something like that. And from the point of view of her current status, such a category would be a little more appropriate, but since they decided. By the way, Kamila had more than serious competitors. In the final, she competed against 2-time world and European champion, 2-time Olympic silver medalist Evgenia Medvedeva, Olympic champion in artistic gymnastics Nikita Nagorny, founder of the Media League football club Amkol, German El Clasico, and fitness trainer Vladimir Olafarenko. Each of the finalists can be called extremely successful in the sports blogging environment. They have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and grandiose projects outside of their sports activities. And it is even more valuable for Kamila to win in such a solid company. Now her status as a serious sports blogger is beyond doubt. But who else among the figure skaters is busy running their own blog? The first thing that comes to mind when you hear the phrase figure skater blogger is Genia Medvedeva and her own YouTube show, No Comment. Even when she was a figure skater, she was free and uninhibited enough to raise global topics in interviews, be it some internal problems and experiences or rethinking herself after losing at the Olympics and leaving for a new country to train. A healthy level of self-reflection allowed her to find herself fairly quickly after the end of her competitive career. In her own show, she talks with guests on a variety of topics, and each time it does not look like a typical interview, rather like two friends who got together after some time apart and discussed their pressing issues. The pool of guests is wide and diverse, from colleagues in the industry, Alexandra Trusova, Elizaveta Tuktamysheva, to the clergyman Father Pavel Ostrovsky. Thanks to such coverage, Evgenia attracts a large layer of audience not from the world of sports, a certain percentage of which then, one way or another, through the personality of Genia herself, begins to take an interest in sports topics. It is unlikely that this is the main essence of all Medvedeva's activities outside of figure skating, and yet. In addition, Evgenia runs a Telegram channel and very often appears at various social events. Perhaps, if you choose an athlete who most quickly and harmoniously found herself after figure skating, then in this nomination she will have no equal. Bypassing the stage of uncertainty, she immediately fell into the category of celebrity, and now, perhaps, only one question remains unresolved. How long will she be able to hold on to this status? Eternal rivals, as always, go hand in hand.
Сейчас какие у вас с Женей Медведевой отношения?
Никаких.
Alina came to pure blogging a little later than Genia, but only because after the end of her career, she first got into the world of television. For 3 years, she hosted the popular show Ice Age, for which she was recognized as the best host of the year in Russia 3 times in a row. It is logical that against this background, the main broadcaster of the country began to invite her to provide the compere at figure skating competitions. She was accompanied only by the masters, Alexei Yagudin, Maxim Trenkov, Dmitry Krustalev, but each time there was a feeling that Alina would find herself in something else. Connected, of course, with the camera, but the role for her simply begs for something else. And so, starting this season, the Olympic champion has finally retrained as a sports blogger. She is still connected with the main broadcaster, but now they have chosen a different role for her. She hosts video blogs from competitions. She walks around the stands, talks with athletes after performances, catches well-known coaches and organizes cute activities with them to rejoice on camera for her students, tell something funny. Bet on the performance of Daria Setkova with Gleichengauz and all that kind of stuff. It would seem that the genre is not new, but it is thanks to Alina that the channel's vlogs have become watchable and interesting. The champion attracts the audience with her sincerity, non-trivial interactions with athletes, and interesting questions. And, of course, original outfits. Where would we be without them? From all of Alina's looks for video blogs alone, one can already compile an impressive fashion selection. One of the few examples of figure blogging outside the video genre. Elizaveta is beautiful and photogenic, but she prefers text to pictures for self-expression. She periodically writes materials for her blog, touching upon a variety of purely sports-oriented topics, how to return after a long break, what an athlete's schedule looks like, and why the devaluation of ultra-SI in figure skating is bad. Here, as in the case of Zagitova, sincerity works. The choice of topics in itself is not very original, but in Liza's materials the key is in the content, not in the title. Over the years in sports, she has built a reputation for herself in the manner of the American type of girl next door. A sincere girl who is not shy about talking about a variety of things. She is close and understandable to a wide variety of audiences, which in turn explains the interest in her person. In addition, being for many a role model of a long-lived woman in a fairly young sport, Elizaveta does not shy away from sharing professional advice and reasoned opinions, which her colleagues cannot afford for various reasons. The World Championship medalist in pair skating has long been on the path of a video blogger. Being a photogenic and literate person, Alexander, apparently, immediately after sports decided to connect his life with the media profession and managed to succeed quite a bit in this. His video blog, unlike the same Zagitova, is more aimed at demonstrating the process. A kind of reportage genre, behind the scenes of ice shows, competitions, and other activities, one way or another connected with figure skating. Due to unhindered access to the stands and, logically, direct acquaintance with the overwhelming majority of figure skaters, Alexander gets interesting and rich vlogs with the insider of figure skating, for which there is always a steady demand in the environment. In addition to the response from the audience, Alexander is already noted in professional circles of the sports industry.